Hello YouTubers, I want to welcome you to another edition of Bargain Bin Gear. Okay, and this time around, we're going to take a look at a tiny little delay pedal. Okay, now this is a budget delay pedal. In fact, you'll find these for about 60 bucks new, and you can probably find used ones as well. Okay, and the one we're going to be looking at is the Quattro by Joyo. A little tiny pedal, but it's actually quite powerful because it has 4 modes. 4 different delay styles, if you like. The first one being a standard digital delay. Right, so that's pretty commonplace. Okay. Then the second one you have is an analog delay, as opposed to a digital delay. Okay. And then there are 2 other modes. One is a modulation delay, right, where it almost sounds like they're kind of adding a chorus as well as a delay. And then a last one is a filter delay, right, and as you play, it kind of adds a filter, almost as if somebody's playing with the tone knob. Okay, so that's quite unusual for the price and such a tiny pedal to have those 4 different modes. And let me show it to you here. We can take a look at it here. I mean, that is tiny. Look at that. Microscopic. And it has a protective plastic sheath, if you like, right? So once you have it set to the settings you like, you can put that down and then still have access to turning it on and off, but your foot won't change any of the settings. And if we open that up, we actually have 4 little knobs and 2 little LEDs. Okay? Pretty impressive. And the 4 knobs, right? First you have the time setting, right? So you can set it to number of beats per minute, like 120 beats per minute or 100 and so on and so on. And you would think that if you turn it to the right, that would increase the time, right? But in fact, it actually decreases the delay time, right? In other words, I discovered that right in the middle is about 120 beats per minute. But if you turn it to the left, right, it actually decreases that delay time, right, making it sound faster. Okay, the opposite of what you would usually think. The second knob is feedback, which is the amount of repeats. And it can go all the way to just about, hit it once and it goes on forever, it sounds like. And then, of course, you have the mix button, and that's just the volume of the delay compared to the dry signal. And then the 4th knob is just choosing which mode you want to use. Digital delay, analog delay, modulation delay, or the filter delay. Right? And I mean, this is quite impressive. And it's true bypass as well. So it won't interfere with your tone that you already have. And I've tried it here, and I think it sounds really, really good. For 60 bucks, especially. You know, is there something I wish it had? Of course, the usual. I wish it was stereo. Yeah. But I also think, just like the previous pedal we looked at, you can add some reverb, a stereo reverb, and that would basically split the signal into almost stereo, you know, kind of a dual mono delay. Anyway, I'm really quite impressed with the sound quality of the little pedal. Very fun to play with, you know, experiment with different delay sounds and things. And usually on a budget delay pedal, you know, you've got one style. It's either a digital delay or an analog delay. But this one has 4, hence the name Quattro, of course. Right? Very, very cool little pedal. We can take a listen to it here. Alright, now the first mode is the digital delay. Pretty standard fare, you know. Now here's a guitar just with no delay at all, no effects. Okay. If I turn the delay on, and then here I think I have the time set to 12 noon, which is basically 120 beats per minute, pretty much. Yeah, so let's take a listen to that. Okay, so I mean that sounds really good, I think. Now we can turn the feedback knob for more feedback if you like. You know, you can change the time of it here. And if you turn the feedback way up, it's kind of this endless feedback, basically. Turn that down, and we can change the time setting. we can go slower too. And now here I'm going to add a reverb after it. Okay. So that's the digital delay, and I think it's really nice, real clean, you know. And usually when I use a digital delay, you know, 120 beats per minute is about usually the timing I use anyway. Okay. And it's a mono pedal, and I'm using two of the little Fender Superjet X2s. So I'm using a Plethora X5 just for some reverb, and that kind of splits the signal into not quite stereo, but dual mono, if you like. But it sounds really good, I think. Alright, so now we're going to switch to the second mode, and I'll turn the reverb off. Alright, so this is just the dry guitar here. So this is the analog delay, kind of old school. Same settings, in fact. Yeah, you can hear it kind of trailing off. And here we'll add the reverb afterwards. Okay. Same thing, you can increase the feedback. So we can trim that down. Now, interestingly, for such a tiny pedal, it actually has a mod function, which is the third of the 4 delays, and it's a modulation. Right, so it kind of adds kind of like almost a chorusy sound to the delay. So let's try that. Basically play this similar thing. This is just the dry guitar, no delay. So we can do that. So now with the delay, there you can really hear the modulation effect, the kind of chorusy sound. And we add a reverb to that. So for such an inexpensive pedal, to actually have a mod setting is quite impressive, I think. And it sounds really, really good. No complaints here. Alright. And we've got one more, and this is kind of a filtered, a filtered delay, so it'll have a little things as it's trailing off. You'll be able to hear it here. But here's just the flat guitar again. Alright, and here's the filtered mode. Let's try that. filter. Now when we add the reverb, same thing, you can increase the feedback, right? Decay with that feedback. Anyway, I think it's okay, here are my overall thoughts on the pedal. I think it's definitely worthwhile. For $60 you get a really high quality sounding digital delay, and those extra modes makes it definitely worthwhile. You know, because usually on a budget pedal like this you get one delay, you know, either an analog or a digital delay, you know, and usually you don't find the modulation at all or the filter delay. So in that sense I think it's very, very interesting. You know, now can you compare it to you know, one of the larger digital delays where you can tap the tempo in and it shows you, you know, on a display what the beats per minute are. Of course, it doesn't do that, you know, but if you can keep pretty much, you know, what delay time you usually use, for me it's about 120 beats per minute. You know, for me it's usually 120 beats per minute, which I find is basically right around noon here on the little delay. Yeah, I'm actually really impressed with this. I think it's really cool because it's so small, you know. I mean, you could just put that in your pocket, right, of your jacket or something, and there you go. You got your digital delay, and you know, if you could add some reverb to it, you can get a really big sound with it. Even without the digital delay, I thought it was very useful little pedal, you know. And you can pick these up used inexpensively enough. And at $60, I mean, that's a very inexpensive digital delay with this kind of quality and the 4 different modes, you know. Wow. Yeah, I'm quite impressed. And remember, true bypass, right? Which is very important because, you know, a lot of budget pedals, they eat your tone, or give you a bunch of noise and stuff. And I don't get that here. I think it's very clean, very usable delays, for sure. And doesn't take up a lot of space. If you have a tiny pedal board you just want to add a delay to, this would work really, really well. So I'm really quite impressed. For such a tiny pedal to have such a good delay sound. Maybe something you'd want to consider. If you run across one of these, I highly recommend that you at least try it. Because its size is very deceptive. You think, oh well, this can't give you a good tone, but actually it's pretty high quality delay sound. Definitely very usable. And I've used, most of the time I'm using either a delay from a Plethora or from a Untitled H9, which has very, very good delays. Basically a time factor delay. Well, this sounds really similar, quite frankly. The delays are really that good. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. So here you go. This is the Quattro pedal by Joyo. Little tiny delay pedal. However, with high quality delay sounds, I'm really impressed. Certainly can come in very handy. If you don't want to grab a huge pedal board, you can just grab one of these for a delay sound. Pretty impressive. Alright, I wanted to show you that. So, very good. See you next time. Okay, bye.